All right. What an exciting time to be alive on the planet. And you came here for this, whether you remember it or not. And my name's Jeff Cloud. I'm the author of the book and online course, Waking Up in the Dream. And I'm just going to share a couple things that I share with myself every day and with my clients that I work with all over the world as what I will call reminders of what's occurring right now and some real simple tools to plug in to our memory bank and our conscious awareness of what we speak about, how we describe our reality, and understanding that there's a timeline split happening right now. There may be multiple timelines because there's an infinite number of timelines. So when people talk about the timeline split, it doesn't mean that there's just one. However, there appear to be two choices right now. Those that understand that they are consciously and intentionally creating their reality, those that remember that we came here for this incredible shift, and those that understand or are learning. Hey, Lisa, great to see you. Good evening. Those that are learning and remembering that we are creating our reality with our thoughts, our words, our imagination, our beliefs, which is why it's so important to look at our belief system, because for most people, it's a really tiny, tiny prison, and they defend anything that challenges their beliefs because the ego doesn't feel comfortable and it doesn't know who it would be if it can't control these beliefs. It's very interesting to observe, and I'm going to give you a really powerful, simple statement to observe and to put into your conscious programming or reprogramming, as I call it. Hey, Robs, great to see you. Yeah, good for you, brother. Recognizing the here and now, choosing the good. It's all about gratitude, really is. So one of the things that is really, really key to become aware of, and I'm not projecting that anybody out there that sees this isn't already aware of this. This is just for the people that are going to see this. They're frustrated right now. They can be triggered. They cannot be feeling safe. They don't know who to believe or who to trust. They're seeing all these things in the media or things that are getting posted. Lots of people are triggered right now, and lots of people are using very disempowered statements when they come on to other people's posts. I experience this all the time, and we'll do something like a reveal where Jasara is coming, the money's coming, there's going to be contact, there's all these patents that are going to be revealed, over 6,000 of free energy devices, healing beds, medical technology, reverse aging protocols, techniques, And then you get somebody that's frustrated and they come on to your page and they go, I'll believe it when I see it. And it's frustrating to see that because, number one, it shows that they're frustrated. Number two, it shows that they're a little bit triggered. But what it really shows is that they do not understand that their thoughts and their words and their beliefs are creating their reality. So when you say, I'll believe it when I see it, what you're doing is or what a person that says that is doing is they are programming their subconscious and telling their subconscious, which is creating everything in one's reality that does show up. They're programming themselves to never see it. So eliminate that. And the other thing that's really, really key right now, that's always been key, is staying out of judgment. Judgment is the biggest addiction on the planet. I was a judgeaholic. I was taught to be that way in private Catholic schools when I was placed in them as part of my agreed upon soul contract so I could see that program running. The nuns were angry every day. They were pissed off. And every day for the students was judgment day. Every day. And so I got to see that program at a very, very early age. And most people, if they become triggered or they don't like something, or they have a fear come up, or whatever it is, they'll go into judgment. They'll act like the problem is out there. And in some cases, there are some problems out there. There's child trafficking, there's child sacrifice, there's the poisoning of people with injections and poison in our food, air, water. Yeah, okay. So the key is, if there's something, hey Lisa, great to see you, good evening. If there's something you can do about it and remain grounded and in your heart, then go do it. You know, things can be affected through change. It's not about just going, I'm all living in 5D and I don't look at any of that stuff. That's not how the darkness gets revealed. We must balance the light in the dark, and we must shine our light on the dark. And so if there's something that you see that you can positively shine light on or create some positive change, then do it. You know, I'm living in Thailand right now, and, you know, I deal with clients. I love doing that. That's my passion, taking them through the waking up in the dream process, doing inner healing, reprogramming the subconscious. But when I go out my door, there's wild street dogs everywhere. And I love animals, so I help them. Why? It's not because I'm so great. It's because I can. It makes me feel good, and it's easy. So whatever you can do wherever you're at, do it. You know, send light to everything. Send light to anyone that you feel that is bad. Whether it's Bill Gates, Fauci, if they're even still around on their 3.0 version or whatever it is, send love. Send love to anything that upsets you. Send love to anything. Just send it. Send healing to the planet. Love on your cells every single day. I do that first thing. I teach people to consciously and intentionally create their reality as soon as they wake up, before those 50 to 80,000 thoughts start running. If anybody has any questions here, I'm intending on making this a short transmission. So if anybody has a question that comes up, feel free to pop it in. It's a judgment-free zone. There are no stupid questions. However, we're going to not address the topics of any conspiracy facts. We're just going to speak about along the lines of inner healing and creating one's preferred reality or shifting their beliefs. So there you go. So stay out of judgment. Another key is stop seeing others as separate. This is a big key, because when we see people that are doing things that are bad, and I'm even this way, I'm like, sharpen the guillotine. These people should be removed from the planet for intentionally killing and harming millions and millions of people. And it's still kind of going on, although it's shifting. So, you know, I'm the same way, but I have those feelings. However, we're all connected. So at the end of the day, or at the end of your timeline, or the end of however long you're going to be here, understand that if you're holding, or if we are holding, a lack of forgiveness to anyone, it's lowering our frequency. What does lowering our frequency do? It stops us from being able to move into and operate into higher vibrational timelines, higher dimensional timelines, which are already here now. There's no such thing as time. Anything you can think of is already happening on another timeline now. So yeah, send love to everything. And here's a great mantra. Anytime you're triggered or go into judgment, ask. Well, first of all, stop and realize that you're triggered, angry, or in judgment. It happens to all of us. It happens to all of us, including me. And I've been practicing these tools for 24 years now. really consciously, I was learning them the first 17 years. Consciously now, I've been taking people through this process for about 10 years. But anytime you have a judgment or a trigger, this is mastery. You stop immediately. You take a breath. If you can smile, that's even better, because whenever we get triggered, it affects our cells. And our cells are what are unconditionally loving us in every moment. And they have since, we've been in the womb. So we don't want to harm ourselves. Our bodies are unconditionally serving us, processing food, purifying our blood. They're making everything happen. And there's trillions of them in our body, and they're consciously aware, and they're consciously listening to every single thought, word, and feeling that we have. So this is why reprogramming our subconscious is the key to everything. Okay, so anytime you have a judgment, a trigger, a less than thought, shame, guilt, stop. And I would write this down. The short version is 5 words. What is the gift here? But to understand it on a little deeper level and to embody it so it becomes your new automatic is to ask and write this down. What is this trying to show me or teach me about me? See, the ego is always going to, the untrained ego is going to project that the problem is out there and this person did something to them. Now, in this reality, it appears that people are doing things to us. I work with people that have been raped by their father, that have been abused by their alcoholic mother, that have been locked in basements, in cages, and chained up by their boyfriends. True stories, okay? However, you have to understand, and this is the get out of hell free card. Every single thing that's happened to you was part of your agreed upon soul contract before you came here. Seems like my lips aren't moving to my words. Maybe StreamYard's a little bit off today. I just noticed that. But anyway, I'll repeat that because it's important and it may trigger people. Because when I first heard that, I was like, there's no way I would have chosen all this amount of pain and suffering. There's no way. But that wasn't working for me every time I used that. So finally, I had to go a little bit deeper and go, wow, what if I did choose that my father died in a plane crash when I was 7, that I would grow up with 2 stepfathers that ruled with an iron fist, that I would be placed in Catholic schools, that the other things that happened to me, whether I created it or it happened as a result of soul contracts or random occurrences or whatever. Well, when you stop and you go, I'm fucking triggered. Those MFs, this is wrong. They're harming the child. Stop and go, okay, what is this trying to show me or teach me about me? Again, it comes back to, if you can take action without being angry and triggered and, lowering your vibration, if you can do it while being the conscious observer, those are the people that get things done. Even if they have to navigate through the false maritime law court systems they're being dissolved right now. But being able to create change while maintaining the observer standpoint. Okay, I'm triggered. This is really painful, but I'm going to take a breath and I'm going to be very calm as I move through this. Even if somebody says something to me or tries to attack me, because oftentimes that's what they may try to do, because that's the 3D playbook, respond, react, don't take responsibility, triggers. So masters operate and practice operating beyond that. So anytime you have a judgment or a trigger or a less than thought or a thought around lack, or anything that doesn't come from love, joy, compassion, gratitude, and excitement, my favorite word, stop. You can feel it. You can teach yourself to feel this stuff in a matter of days. Certainly 30 days is what the short program that I take people through. You use the tracking sheet. It step-by-step guides you through it and just reminds you what to focus on each day. And when you begin to put yourself under a microscope, which is basically what we're going to have to do if we're going to heal and clear these programs. And we knew we were going to have to do this before we agreed to come down here. We knew it. And now we're remembering. And there's a mass remembrance going on right now with all these incredible energies that are coming into the planet. Just look at Facebook and the timeline feed on your pages. Look at how many incredible, insightful wisdom posts and reminders that are in the pipeline now compared to even a year ago, let alone 5 years ago or 10 years ago. It's night and day. So you can see that even if you don't think people are waking up, it doesn't necessarily happen like a lightning bolt. But observe 1 year ago, 5 years ago. Look at what's happening. Look at what's happening around the planet. There's major, major, major positive changes happening right now. It's been prophesied for thousands of years. I don't know. I don't remember the past currently, but it's happening. So that's something to get excited about. So what is this trying to show me or teach me about me? If you're thinking you're going to remember that and you're like, I don't need to write that down, your ego is winning. I guarantee if you don't write something down and memorize it and practice it, those thoughts that have been running, those automatics that have been running for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 decades, they're running on automatic. You must be able to see them. You must be able to stop when they happen, take a breath, and then replace them. You can't just distract yourself and go, I didn't like that feeling. You must dismantle an old program or wound. You can't bypass it and push it away or it'll come back. You've got to get to the root. It's not difficult. It just requires a willingness to be 100% honest with yourself, be willing to be vulnerable, which is one of the greatest traits of a master, and just go, okay, there's a trigger. Fuck, I'm pissed. What is this trying to show me or teach me? Then here's the key. When you can thank the other person or the thing that triggered you, then you know you're really paying attention, because the ego doesn't want to thank something it didn't like or something that triggered it. But the aware ego, when you begin to step into mastery, which is anyone, if they're listening to me, you're already a master. You're just remembering, and we're practicing together. And that's why I come on and do this. I don't even know if there's anybody out there. It looks like there's some comments here. Here's Lisa. Lisa went through my process. I got your tracking sheets out today. Oh, good for you. Good for you. Yeah, I reprint them out all the time because I can still get triggered. I'm very, very passionate. I've been going down what some people call the rabbit hole for a long, long time, well over 2 decades. And I knew even when I was 7 that the Catholic school was rigged. And yeah, so I print out the sheets because you can forget this stuff. Like people will go through my course, they'll do 30 days or they'll do 90 days, and they'll have aha moment after aha moment. Because the process of using the tracking sheet, which is basically this simple guy right here, and it's 2 pages, you print it out, you use it with the book, and it just reminds you every day what to do. It's very, very simple. Self-love work, mirror work. Most people don't do it. Most people can't look in the mirror and go, I love you. And a lot of men, and you might be able to look in the mirror and do it. But if you're really honest with yourself, something might come up like, oh, you're just saying that. You really don't love yourself because the other day you did something that was, I love you. 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 Begin to thank everything that happens in your life and take away the lesson. Thank you for sharing that, Lisa, because it's so key and it's so easy. Even I've had teenagers that are 11 and 14 go through this process, and they actually go through it faster than the parents, because the parents had another 20 to 30 to 40 years of automatic repetition of the programs. The kids were excited. They're like, oh, there's a trigger, Mom. You need to catch that one. So it just works. And this will be taught in the newer school systems very soon, because you can see that whole thing's crumbling. It's out of control. So judgments, catch them. Stay out of judgments. Stop seeing others as separate. I know my screen gets brighter when I do this because it's brighter. So here's another thing. You'll see a lot of people, I touched on this earlier, when they go and read a post, and people have been talking about Nasaran, Jasaran, that our birth certificate that's in capital letters that made us be slaves under the British Royal Crown and the false hijacked Constitution from 1871, I believe that was the year. That stuff's coming into the light. It's going to happen. But if you're one of those people that goes, I'll believe it when I see it, and you come on to other people's posts that are putting their heart and soul on the line, and they've done their research, you're just basically making yourself look ignorant. Because number one, everybody can tell you're triggered. Everybody can tell you're frustrated. And instead of going, could you teach me a little bit more about that, or what your thinking process is around that? That's the way to approach somebody's post that's sharing something, not by attacking them or leaving a negative comment. And when you say, I'll believe it when I see it, that means one thing. I don't believe it. So since I'm telling my subconscious that, the likelihood of me ever seeing it is probably not going to happen. And it could happen. My intention is that we all get blasted with people are talking about all these light codes coming in and the solar flashing. Hey, if it happens, it happens. I won't be mad that I had to go through, 3 or 4 decades of observing things and exposing them to people, and everybody told me I was crazy. I knew about pedophilia when I was a kid in Catholic school. In my young teens, I was an altar boy in the Catholic Church. Luckily, it never happened to me, but I knew about it. I've been exposing that stuff. I've been exposing child trafficking and the horrific things they do around the Andrena. So I'm not going to be upset if we all get solar flashed and everybody wakes up. But the bottom line is, if you're one of those people that are saying, I'll believe it when I see it, you do not understand how you are creating your reality. Instead of reacting to everything out there, begin to consciously and intentionally create your reality first thing every morning while your head's still on the pillow. Before those 50 to 80,000 thoughts start running. I got to get up. I got to get kids ready for school. I got to put on a pot of coffee. I got to check my email. All that stuff's going to get done. All that's going to get done. What's not going to get done for most people, unless you consciously and intentionally do it, is as soon as you awaken and your head's still on the pillow and you realize, wow, I got another day here. How amazing. How can I serve the collective today? I'll get into that in a minute. That's a game changer. So first thing I do, and I teach people to do, is love on every cell. Begin to take some slow, deep breath. Smile. Take some deep breaths. Quiet the mind. Love on every one of your cells and organs. We can't even process the magnitude and the magnificence of what every one of these cells, our blood, our organs, just the stomach alone, what that does every day. How about the liver, the kidneys, the brain functions? We can't even process the magnificence of what this body is doing for us from moment to moment to moment to moment. And it doesn't even have to think about it. It's all automatic, the gift from the Creator. If that doesn't blow your mind, I don't have anything better. So we love on our body. We talk to ourselves. We say thank you. And any pains that we may have, anything that we are playing with, healing. I use the word playing because work is heavy. Playing is light. It allows things to move without that heavy energy. So play in this reality. It goes a long way. Why do you think they want to squash kids' imagination immediately? Because it's such a high magnetic frequency for creating realities. Kids see things, adults don't. Yeah, food for thought. So consciously and intentionally creating your reality every day, intending how it's going to go, and not seeing it in the future. Seeing it and feeling it is already here now. And when I do my morning routine, I'm smiling. Because when you smile, you can tell that it's authentic. I truly feel and know that if I hold this frequency of whatever it is I desire, whether it's abundance or a perfectly healed body, or that I've reversed my aging back to 30 or whatever year is optimal, I can feel it like a little kid. That's when you know that you're holding the frequency. If you're just going, well, I hope I make some more money this year. Hey, Brian, great to see you. Yeah, it is my morning here in Thailand. And thank you for tuning in. And thank you for being here and holding a wonderful frequency for everybody on the planet. So don't ever say, I'll see it when I believe it. Understand that you're consciously and intentionally creating your reality. If you don't like what you're seeing, or if you don't feel abundant, I guarantee you 1,000,000% there is a subconscious belief that's running that says, whatever it is. And mine wasn't like super strong, like I don't deserve anything. I might have had that at one point from holding shame or guilt. But here's what my money story was and why I couldn't go any higher at the time. Because I always felt like, well, I was taught to be grateful. So my story is I always seem to have just enough. Not a bad story. But that's not really an abundance story. That was not the frequency that I felt underneath. That was my nice way of saying, fuck, I don't know how to manifest more. I just don't. I bought all the books, Think and Grow Rich and Napoleon Hill, and I studied them all. I did EFT tapping, money comes to me. None of it worked. None. And I would read a book and I'd be like, oh, yeah, this is really good. This is really good. This is really good. Then I'd get to the end and then I'd go buy the next book, go, this is really good. And it didn't work for me. Why? Because my subconscious programming that I got from my mom, I love you, Mom, for sure. My mom rocks. But when my dad died in a plane crash when I was 7, that was traumatic for everybody in the family. There was some money that was received from the insurance company, but that was gone after my mom bought us a house, which was great. Thank you, Mother. Hey, Aura, great to see you. Hey, Brian. So, is this making sense? Does anybody have any questions? It's not like you guys don't know this stuff. And I'm never coming across like that. I'm just reminding me, and I'm sharing tools that I share with people that I take this process through. And since I can get on here and do this, when I'm lying in bed in the morning, or should I say laying? I think the term is lying when you're lying in bed, but I'm not a big fan on the word lying, L-Y-I-N-G. So when I'm in bed in the morning and I've just awoken and I realize that I get to consciously and intentionally create my day. Hey, Tamara. Aw. Thank you. I love you too. I have energetically charged. I have energetically charged your heart or my heart. Okay, Lisa's got a question. Thank you, Lisa, for being the first one to ask a question. How do you keep clear and look at Telegram? I do it like this. Oh, there it is. Yeah, if anything's lowering your vibration, then it's not for you. If you will notice, I haven't posted anything on my Telegram channel in about I don't know, 3 weeks or a month. I just stopped. Boom, done. My goal is to start sharing what I'm sharing on Facebook, because these are the real tools moving forward. All that stuff is being dealt with from everything I've seen, and the takedown of the deep state and all that stuff. We're seeing a movie. We're watching a movie playing out. So if you're feeling disappointed, then that's your key to go, oh, that's lowering my vibration. That's not for me. And I spoke about a little bit earlier on here, if you can take action, and like there's people that are out there that are actually arresting pedos and people that are like literally sacrificing children and deeper stuff on the dark web. Okay. There's law enforcement that has to go and do that. I send them love every day, because that's one of the worst things that anybody could ever see or have to experience. If you can't do that, then unplug. And there's other ways that you can consciously and intentionally shift the field by just every morning when you're doing your morning routine, or you're coming back, if you have alarms set on your phone. I have people that go through my course set 12 alarms on their phone to go off every day. And you can put them on vibrate if you're working, or you may not get the 12 alarms, but you're going to see the reminder on your phone. And that reminder is going to go, psst, where are you? Where's your frequency? Where's your focus? Are you excited? Are you in gratitude? Or are you thinking about things you don't like? Or are you angry? Are you thinking about lack? Or it's just a reminder, because these tools take practice. We've been programmed for decades. So undoing it and doing what I call permanent subconscious reprogramming, which is the most life-changing thing anybody will ever do, is super key. So Epstein, all that stuff, it's being dealt with. It's not going to be swept under the rug. They may have tried to bury a lot of this stuff. They're trying to bury all the deception, all the stolen money in Congress, and it's coming into the light. So stay balanced, and just keep coming back to, if something is triggering you or it's not making you feel good, come back to the statement of, what is this trying to show me or teach me about me? Super key. Thank you for asking that question, because it's a great question. It really is. This is not about coming on here and going, we've got it all figured out. I'm still constantly, every day, mirroring Jeff, looking at my programs, because as long as we're in a human body, we're running programs. Being programmed doesn't mean they're bad. It's just who did the programming. Because in the beginning, when I realized in 2001 that none of my beliefs were my own, none, that was one of the biggest light bulb moments in my life. And Don Miguel Ruiz told me that. I was studying with him as an apprentice in San Diego. If you don't know who he is, he wrote the 4 Agreements and the Mastery of Love. And he was just a storyteller. He didn't show me a process like I have a step-by-step process in the book. But that one aha moment changed everything for me, because I saw, wow, everybody has this tiny little belief system. And if you're willing to be honest, which is the only way you're going to free yourself, our beliefs, no matter how much you think you know, if you've got all these degrees hanging on your wall, like all these Rockefeller trained doctors, what you think you know wouldn't even fit on the head of a pin compared to everything that's out there. So when I saw that, I'm like, oh my God, everybody's got this belief system. All their beliefs came from their parents, their grandparents, the school system, religion, the news. And if anything challenges or triggers one of their beliefs, they have an automatic reaction, and they have to react because they have a reaction in their body. That's how everybody stays triggered and in separation on the planet, because 3D is set up to keep everybody reacting. Republican versus Democrat. It's what white lives matter, black. It's all set up to keep people arguing. The people that had all their DNA knew how to create this slave system. Yeah, exactly. My mantra is, and I invite everybody, I did this on my last live and I do posts about this all the time. Adopt this mantra. Super simple. Write it down. It'll change your life. I promise you. You can say again, oh, I'll just remember that. No, you won't. You might remember it sometime in the distant future. Or let me rephrase that. Maybe you will if you've got an automatic recall memory. Most people don't have that. Here's the mantra. 3 words. I know nothing. Now, the ego isn't necessarily going to like that because it thrives on control, which is all false. There's no control. But it wants to believe that it knows. That's why it reacts anytime anything challenges whatever it believes it knows, because it feels threatened and it feels like it's not in control. Well, it's not in control. And this process teaches it to just sit back and observe. Don't need those reptilian fear-based programs anymore. So when you begin to reprogram your subconscious with, I know nothing, doesn't mean that you don't know anything. Like, I know that love is a high frequency, so is excitement. I know that that my energy is infinite. And I also know that I and we are 100% unlimited. I would write that word down in capital letters and I would paste it everywhere, because most people do not believe, think, or operate from an unlimited mindset. Most people hope, wish, want, need, try. Those are 5 spell words to eliminate from your vocabulary. And I have a video on my YouTube channel, Portal to Awakening. It's my shortest video, actually, of the 9 most common spell words to eliminate. And you'll hear everybody using them, everybody, even people that are very spiritually advanced. They're all using need, try, want, hope, wish. Most of them are. That's programming your subconscious to give it the exact instruction. Your desire is still not here yet. There's an aha moment for you. At least it was for me. So, Tamara, I don't know if you go by Tamara or Tamara, so I'm going to say both. Vivid dreams. I had weird dreams last night. Good for you. Thank you for helping the children. Me too. Me too. It's pretty much all about the children. So thank you for sharing that. Okay, so what is this trying to teach me or show me about me? Huge. I know nothing. Huge. Here's another 3-word mantra that'll change your life that I don't think I shared earlier when I talked about judgment being the biggest addiction on the planet. Instead of judging, train yourself to be a calm, conscious observer. Masters don't judge. They observe. And then they change things with frequency and intention from their heart. So this mantra is, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting is 100% neutral. It means you're observing. You're going, I wonder if there's something else I could take away from this. I wonder if there's something that this is trying to show me or teach me about me. Combine those two, and you've got a learning process that is going to blow open all of the old limiting program and beliefs that we all have, or we all had. We had to take them on. It was part of the soul contract. Yeah. So isn't that interesting? Super key. I'm not going to type it in because I got to type it in and it distracts me. So any questions around any of that? Don't ever say, I'll believe it when I see it. You'll see it when you believe it, when you really believe it, and when you feel it. And when you see it and feel it is already here now. It's okay to have, like, I journey with people, and part of the waking up in the dream process is inner healing, because you got to do it. Second part is dismantling the belief system and then doing the permanent subconscious reprogramming. But I train coaches and mentors as well, and people that have goals. So sometimes the goals are in the future, even though there really is no future, but we're playing with slowed down timelines in 3D, 4D, whatever D we're in, to just use terms that people understand. So oftentimes we'll map out a 90-day plan or a 6-month plan or a year-long plan. But when those people are consciously and intentionally creating their reality first thing every morning before the 50 to 80,000 thoughts start running, doing this will change your life. They see anything that we've mapped out as a 30, 60 day, 90 day, 1 year plan. They see it and feel it is already here now. Many of you already know this. However, even I, who've been teaching this for a long time, can still practice this and ramp it up another notch day by day by day and remind myself. It's reminding. Means to do it again. That's why I call it permanent subconscious reprogramming, because it's key. It changes everything. Okay, next thing, and then I'm almost done. Any questions? You've been desiring. See, I was going to say wanting, because that's what popped in, but I've trained myself to catch those, and you can actually begin to see and feel them coming. So I found the replacement word, which was desiring. And you might say, well, what's the difference between wanting and desiring? Are they the same? They're close. But the key is I caught it, and I'm aware of spell words that I do not intend to use anymore. So that's a win. Okay? It's a conscious awareness win when it comes to reprogramming. Okay. Here's one that changed my life. The majority, well, let's be careful with that word too. Some. Let's just use some, because in 1 minute, everybody could shift and everybody's in 5D and beyond. There are no more judgments. There is no more lack. There is no more aging. There is no more dis-ease. There is no more lack of abundance. It doesn't exist. It's a 3D program. It's a 3D prison. So, let's just say some people may wake up in the morning and they may be desiring, wanting, and even needing a lot. And I'm not knocking anybody that uses that word, because there are children, there are people that are living in poverty, there are people without electricity and showers. They need some help. When I say remove the words need, want, wish, try, I'm talking about conscious awareness programming. I'm not talking about judging anybody that might need some assistance. Okay, let's make that clear. So, the majority of people in the ego always wants something more to make it happy. You get the new car, then 6 months or a year later, your neighbor has a nicer car, you want the next car. You make a certain amount of money at your job, then the dangling carrot is always, well, if you just do more for this and your numbers are higher, and, we like what you're doing, Bob, but we'd really like to see an increase in, all the people sitting at the top. It's never enough for the ego, because external things only temporarily satisfy us. This is an inside job. And so here's a mantra that I use every single morning, and it changed my life. My computer's really slow today. I don't know what's going on. There it is. Instead of what can I get for Jeff, it's, and I'm lying on my pillow now, I'm just loved on all my cells. I consciously and intentionally create my reality. I see that I'm surrounded by abundance. You are too. I'm going to say that again. I see that I'm surrounded by abundance. Microphones, guitars. I've got flutes, Tibetan bells. I've got papaya and mango juice. I've got computers. I've got a bed. I've got a shower. I've got a yard. I've got internet. We're surrounded by abundance. There's no way that we can't be. And yet, the 3D matrix is set up so deeply that money, there's never enough. And no matter how much you have, you always, one usually always either desires more or they're worried about protecting what they have. Either way is a low frequency that says there's not enough. That's what it's telling your subconscious. There's still not enough. Isn't that interesting? So, waking up every morning instead of going, what can Jeff get? I've already got it. I'm blessed. I'm as free as I've ever been. And I don't say that to throw that in anybody's faces. I don't have to do anything each day. Yes, I still pay rent and I still pay a little bit for water and electricity here in Thailand. It's ridiculously, amazingly cheap here. And I spend more money on wild dogs than I do on myself. I don't need a lot of stuff. Now, if you're saying, well, you're lucky, I need shit, I can barely pay my rent. I get it. Okay? I'm saying this to make a point to uplift you and inspire you. When you begin to name off everything that you already see in your field that proves that you're already abundant, you begin to magnetize. Remember, you're a walking, talking, vibrating magnet. You begin to magnetize more good, more amazing people. And I say that every single morning. The most incredible people show up in my reality for friendships, relationships, to teach me, to go through my course, to help out with the dogs, to give me information, whatever it is. They always show up in my reality perfectly. Abundance shows up in my reality. I'm surrounded by it. I feel it. I claim it, no matter what the ego is saying. And I invite you to name your ego. Everybody that goes through my course gets to choose a name for their ego, which they can change at any time. Yeah, present now is a good one. My ego, I name my ego Larry. Larry was the judge. Larry was holding shame. Larry was holding guilt. Larry was a judgeaholic. Larry was in lack. You get the point. The beauty, oh, you're looking for a new place. Okay, so we're sending you a lot of love and seeing you already in your perfect place. Happy, smiling, dancing, the music's on. The candles are lit if you're into that. And the plants are happy. Your yard is beautiful. And the whole vibe, your neighbors are amazing. So yeah, let's all see that for tomorrow. And anyone else, this is part of my morning routine as well. I see healing to the whole planet. I see forgiveness for anybody that I feel has ever done anything wrong. It doesn't mean that they're not going to be held accountable for crimes against humanity, but that's not my job to hold that lack of forgiveness. Got to clear it. Because to move into higher timelines, you cannot be holding resentment or lack of forgiveness for anyone. You can't do it. And I hear people sometimes, they'll say something like, well, I'll forgive, but I'll never forget. And I just smile, because what that really means is I haven't really forgiven. So here's another key. Here's an invitation. You may not like it, but it'll free you. How do you know if you've forgiven somebody? And listen to these next part of this that I say. How do you know if you've forgiven somebody that perfectly played their agreed upon role as part of your soul contract with you? What? I wouldn't agree to my best friend stealing my fiance, or my father raping me, or my mother being an alcoholic. Yeah, you did. Can I prove that to you? No. And it's not for me to prove to you or to try and make you feel less than. I'm here to uplift and get you to remember. And the only way we can get out of hell is to remember that I chose everything. And when I was first told that a few decades ago, I was like, nope, there's no way I would have chosen this amount of pain and suffering. No way. So I fought that for a while. And when it didn't work, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to look a little bit deeper here. It seems that the people that are really happy and that are living a really healthy, abundant life, they don't hold resentment towards anybody. So I began to ask questions and I began to talk to people. And I found out more about what true forgiveness is about. So how do you know when you have fully forgiven somebody that, again, perfectly played their agreed upon role? You agreed upon this before you came here, and then you had to forget. Otherwise, the experience would have been completely different. So how do you know if you've forgiven somebody? When you think about them, can you say thank you? Now, I don't ask people if I have clients that were raped by their father or their uncle, I don't come right out and say that to them, of course. I'm holding space for them. We're having tears on calls sometimes. We're clearing, and it's easy. Actually, tears are one of the most healing things. The release of tears and that pain is so healing. It's so good for you. And yet we're taught that crying is shameful. I get people on the very first call, and within the first 5 or 10 minutes, I know right where to go because they fill out a simple sheet, and I know that they're there to clear something. Maybe a combination of clearing something and creating the next step for their business, whatever. We reprogram the subconscious for the entire package, which is why it's so powerful. I can see that they're getting ready to have tears and they're trying to hold it back. And I get tears because I know what that feels like. And I'm a compassionate guy. So I'm just like, let it go, let it go, let it go. It's safe here. And they do. And all of a sudden, their entire frequency changes. Everything is lighter in their face and their energy field. It's healing. So if there's anything to let go, I invite you to let it go. If there's anything that you're holding against anybody, I invite you to let it go and find the gift. Find the gift. And there's going to be times when you don't know why the hell that happened. You don't know why. So you just go, well, it happened. I can't figure it out. I've already asked what was the gift and I can't find one. Then let it go and trust. Let it go and trust. Let it go and trust. Yeah. Hey, Michelle, you posted something earlier too, and I didn't get to it because it's not easy. Well, let me rephrase that. It's not as easy sometimes to observe comments and post them while I'm holding a thought. Yeah. When I embrace an embodiment of my choices and can laugh about it and move on without my body becoming yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's when you know. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Thanks for being here. Yeah. I mean, thank you, everybody. Anybody that stayed on here or anybody that shares these to people that you feel this would be valuable to. I mean, to me, these are the tools. This is what should have been taught in school, and it will be taught in school. I'm converting this to a book for children. It's The Waking Up in the Dream if you haven't seen it. And if you'd like to grab it with the daily tracking sheet, you can go to my website. It's so simple. There's nothing difficult about following this process. It meets you where you're at. It's so freaking simple. It's just practice. It's just practice. Okay? And there's no reason ever for anybody to have to go to school for 12 to 16 years to get into the club and then give up the best 65 years of their life. So then they can finally become, what's the spell word? Retired. means to recycle. Tired, you know what that means. This is ending. We're getting to witness this. So it's great. It's freaking what a great, amazing time to be here. Okay? But children, they get their imagination squashed. The dark ones knew that was the first thing. Squash their imagination, teach them to sit down and shut up, and then they teach them what to think instead of how to think. Kids already know how to think. It's called the imagination. We're going to give them some simple tools and guideposts about creating their reality. And yeah, that's it. That maybe takes a year or two. And then get them into something that they love. They've all got unique gifts to share here. So foster that, whether it's music or growing fresh organic vegetables. It's weird now that we have to use the term organic. All vegetables used to be organic. Now we have to talk about ones that they say are, and half of them that they say are organic aren't even organic. Isn't that interesting? And yeah, it sucks. But it's all shifting, and you came here for it. So, yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. So, I think I've about covered what I intended to share. How can I serve the collective? If you begin to think from that mindset, things will just start magnetizing into your reality. Because now instead of what can I get for Jeff, it's how can I serve? And now that may trigger you and go, look, I can't even take care of myself. I'm behind on my rent, my bills. I'm a mother of 3 children. I get it. I'm not talking about dropping anything else, but I'm talking about having the observational mindset to zoom out and go, okay, what's going on here? What's going on here? Yeah, play. Play is what got squashed in the school system. I invite everybody. And if anybody that's heard me or has done sessions with me knows, I don't use the word W-O-R-K. It's got a very heavy frequency to it. So does the word J-O-B. I use the word play all the time because it's really, really key. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Hey, Lisa. Lisa's a rock star. Yeah, well, thank you. Sometimes I feel, silly coming on here, and I can see the faces I make, and I get passionate, but I am passionate. And I know that this stuff works because I've used these tools for a long time. And for me, it took a long time to figure this out. It took a long time because a lot of the books that I read, which interestingly enough, were New York Times best sellers. Isn't that interesting? And when you research that club of how you get to be a New York Times bestseller, it's very interesting because I paid somebody that can get somebody to be a New York Times bestseller just like that. It's a system. It's not because your book is better than any other book. It's just like the record industry. It's all pay to play. Only thing is, this person in Canada stole my money and did not do what he said he was going to do. Isn't that interesting? But I saw how he got other people to be a New York Times bestseller. It's a program. Very interesting. So the only reason I'm sharing that is because we think that these people and there's some great people out there, I've learned a lot from Bob Proctor, rest in peace, and, people that teach conscious awareness like Joe Dispenza and Greg Braden and, Wallace Wattles and people going all the way back in time that were sharing that conscious awareness is the only game in town. Reprogramming your subconscious is the most valuable thing you'll ever do. And that's why I teach it, because I'm passionate about it. I've figured out how to take people through the step. And if you're interested in doing it, reach out to me. I'll be happy to get on a call with you. I'm not trying to do a 3D sales thing on you. Currently, we are still working with money, whether it's fake or not, on the planet. It's all shifting. But I teach people how to not be in lack anymore. And the majority of people that I know are controlled by money because that's how the planet's set up. And I don't mean that you're completely controlled by it, but it's a huge factor. It just is. Okay. It's a factor in my life as well. But I'll teach you how to play with it to where you're not trying to get it or hoping or needing. Yeah, it's interesting and it works. That's all I can say. Any final questions about anything that I've talked about? I'll go over this again real quick. Stay out of judgment. Stop seeing others as separate. That's a real challenge right there. Because when you see people that are harming the planet, chemtrail pilots, people that are harming the children, people that are still pushing the V or the New World Agenda, I believe most of them have been taken out. We're watching a movie playing out because you can't just red pill, as much as we'd like it, you can't just red pill everybody that's been brainwashed or they'll lose it. We're already showing them things and they're calling us theorists. I've been exposing conspiracy facts for over 2 decades. And there isn't one thing that I expose that didn't turn out to be true. When you know how to do your research. So a big high five and love to all those of you out there that have been sharing things, that are still sharing things, and have put your reputations and everything on the line, and your family thinks you're crazy. And, I get it. They could call us a black sheep, but you're really like a golden sheep. You're the golden sheep. You really are. And there's way more of us out there than you can imagine. And that's why I love Facebook, even though they've hijacked all our information and they put us in jail and whatever. They're making too much money to close down, even though they know, holy shit, people are waking up. Yeah, it's game over. Nothing can stop what is coming. And there are so many great things being revealed and happening right now. Oh my God. Yeah. And if you're like, well, I don't know where to find that information, I'll give you one piece that you can look up on Rumble. And it's a gentleman named SG Space Anon. Guy's working for the light. And if you feel differently, you're welcome to your opinion. However, this guy's bringing, whoops, my screensaver just came on. I'm going to post a link in here. Just do a search. And there's other people that have hijacked his channel, like people doing 3D because they're greedy and they're not in integrity. But you can find SG Anon Official. He'll tell you about things that are going on, not only with the American presidency. And if you're a hater, I feel for you, but you're just, I don't know, Yeah. Yeah, we woke up for a reason before other people, and other people woke up before us. Everybody will wake up in their own time. We're all connected. So no judgments anymore. Simply see how you can uplift and inspire someone that may be seeking, but they may still be triggered. And they're either going to be open-minded to looking at different things or they're not. If they're open-minded, feed them a link. If they're not, move on. No need to argue. No need to try and prove anything to anybody that's closed-minded. If people don't have an open mind at this point, they're going to go on this timeline while the rest of us are going to go on this timeline. It's just part of the journey. Everybody's going to get there wherever that is, which I would consider there to be just remembering that we're creating it all and that we're unlimited. There is no such thing as lack, disease, or limitations. There just isn't. We all chose to go on this roller coaster ride. Why? Because it was the most incredible roller coaster ride at the theme park out of anything that we could have chosen. And it was a really valiant and noble mission to come down here and have to agree to forget everything. 10:10 a.m. in Thailand. So I think that's a good time to wrap it up. So big love. If anybody's interested in a session or doing a 30-day or 90-day, you would love some assistance with stepping into your power, you feel like it's time, reach out to me. I'll be happy to get on a call with you, a free call, 30-minute call. Just go to my website, and, reach out. So again, thank you for everybody that stayed on this long. Thank you for everybody that shares these. And reprogramming your subconscious is it. So if that interests you, I post about this stuff every day. And if you're interested in doing a session, or there's something you'd like to heal or clear, reach out. So big love from Thailand. And thank you for being here at this time. You guys rock. And it's an honor to be connected with so many incredible people at this time. So until next time, have an incredible weekend. Stay excited and see those incredible reality timelines. Feel it. Pull them in. Call them in.